I think I've given DayZ more than plenty of time to bake and develop into something truly spectacular over the course of its initial introduction for the Frostline DLC expansion. Those of you unfamiliar with the changes that will soon be taking place, let me summarize it for you in a nutshell. DayZ is essentially stepping into a very interesting stage of its development, and they decided to introduce the most ambitious project that has yet to take place when it comes to DayZ as a whole. Over the course of its existence, DayZ has been casually producing updates for some time being, updates that would vary from different weapons all the way to the new system in the game. New ambient sounds, including toxic zones, new medical supplies, you get the point. We even had a new map introduced to us, also well known as Livonia, back in the day. Now, years later, they announced the new DLC coming very shortly in the fall of 2024 called Frostline, which was heavily influenced by Namalsk. Namalsk is a modded map for DayZ that introduces a few new mechanics into the game as well as a whole new survival system for DayZ enthusiasts. Namalsk was intended to be a hardcore map for those players that wanted an extra challenge, not only for the PvP players but for all the players combined. Namalsk was a truly unique and challenging experience for all the DayZ players all the way across the board. It didn't matter what kind of player you were, it was very challenging for all of us. Most of the time I would join a PvE server, and from the get-go I felt the ruthlessness and the fear roaming on that server. Even on the PvP servers, the players were the least of my concern. As a matter of fact, I felt the force to become trustworthy for someone else, because surviving by yourself through the cold nights was very difficult, and trust me, your days were numbered then. The food you've collected on that map had to be reheated to a certain temperature because the weather was impacting everything on the map, not just the players. You were also prone to develop a frostbite over a short period of exposure to the cold. Of course, over the course of some time, the mod quickly became loved and respected by so many different DayZ players, and surely enough was acknowledged by the devs themselves. And now we have something truly spectacular lined up for us: Frostline. I'm not gonna go in detail and say everything new about this new upcoming DLC. There's plenty of videos on the internet doing that for me. I'd rather keep it as simple as possible and perhaps surprise those who want to be surprised. But I will give you a little taste of it. How about that? Expect everything from the new survival system, weapons, and unique locations all the way to the new diseases and animals such as foxes, or even a new way of transportation, boats. And I'm gonna leave it at that. Once again, if you want to hear more details, you can easily search it on the internet and you'll find plenty of it there. There's people that capitalize on that sort of thing, and I'm not one of them. Now, on the more inconvenient scale, those of us who previously purchased Livonia DLC automatically received a free DayZ soundtrack as a recognition for our support in the previous days, because Livonia is now essentially a free expansion for all the players all the way across the board. Now, personally, I think it was handled poorly by devs for numerous reasons. For one, if you're trying to give someone recognition and want them to stand out in the crowd, sound or music of any sort will not do that. You're better off giving them some sort of cosmetic instead. And that's how they would get recognized by other players. No brainer, right? And for two, just generally speaking, making something free after charging someone $49.99 as a bundle or $14.99 as an in-game purchase, it's just not fair for those who were there from the very beginning. But there is no doubt that the Frostline will be a game changer for everybody. I still find it hilarious that we get the new map along with some new survival mechanics, and yet the vehicles in the game are still being clunky and janky. But hopefully, the money that they make from the Frostline will take care of that issue, or some of it at least, hopefully. Let's just stay optimistic and hopeful, because let's face it, we're getting a new DayZ map before GTA 6. And it is right around the corner, fellas.